Released our reports a few weeks ago. Everything, was very rosy, and things are looking up. The industry's done very well. With shale gas and with the feedstock being the cost of what they are, we look for that to continue. And now we're starting to see that trickle-down effect of all the investment from the oil and gas side and the chemical side and plastics. Now we're starting to see processors make a lot of announcements. One of the most recent ones was Sterilite with their $73 million plant. And that's certainly the talk of the floor out here, is who's going to get the machine order for that. So that certainly is helpful. And I was actually at a press conference a week ago in D.C., and it was the NAM's chief economist and the chief economist from an organization called MAPI. MAPI is the Manufacturers Alliance for Productivity and Innovation. It's typically the Fortune 100, Fortune 200 companies, big companies belong to that, and it's been more of a think tank over the years. Their chief economist was presenting and talked about manufacturing as a whole, because they were really focused on manufacturing, and over the next 4 years, manufacturing as a whole is going to grow at less than 1%, and this is prior to the Trump effect. We're not sure what that means yet. And plastics was going to be anywhere from 1.7 in 2017 to 2.8% to 3% and back to 2.6% growth. So plastics and rubber products in our industry was actually going to lead all of manufacturing, with the exception of aerospace, and for obvious reasons, with the investments that were probably going to be made in DoD. So still a very positive outlook for our industry. Wild card right now. There's a lot of positive things coming out of the new administration on the regulatory front, and they're helping make sure that TSCA, the reauthorization last year, gets implemented, and a lot of positive things. But trade is still that wild card, and it's too early to really tell. There's a lot of discussions. We're having ongoing meetings, not only through the NAM, but on our own. Vice President Pence is a great friend of the plastics industry, and we've got his ear. We have a lot of people coming in to key posts, that understand the importance of trade, but it's still way too early to be able to tell. It'll probably be this summer before we really start to peel things back and see the importance of that. The thing we have to be careful of is all of the discussions and the rhetoric prior to that, that doesn't scare people from, doing the things that they need to do. The thing that I would caution companies, it appears as though President Trump doesn't care whether you're importing 1% of your products or 15% of your products. Companies just need to be very careful as they talk about those kind of things right now and importing product back into the United States.
Yeah.
The drawing is coming up next month, the middle of March, and we are running 8% ahead of booth space requested from ahead of 2015, and as you recall, 2015 was a record year. At 8%, that equates to almost an additional 100,000 square foot of exhibits, and we're only 15,000 square foot from selling out the last show. So things are going very, very well. We've got the new bottle zone that we've released. That's going to be 100,000 gross square feet of space. It's selling extremely well, and it's not just beverage bottles. It's really all kinds of bottles, medicine bottles, shampoo bottles, and the like from that standpoint. And we're actually going to be moving forward with Refocus, which is our new recycling event that we started last year. In the 2 off NPE years, it'll be held as a standalone. It will actually replace the zero waste zone that we had at NPE. So right now, all indications are that 2015 is going to be a year that's passed by 2018, and 2018 will be another record year. The Western region has always been extremely important for the Plastics Industry Association, and previously SPI. There used to be a whole lot more plastic processing on the West Coast than what there is today, but what's being done out here is very high tech, and they do create a lot of jobs, and everyone knows, as I'm not speaking out of school, the issues that we have in California from a plastics industry perspective, and it's important for us to have the feet on the ground. It's still the second largest state in the country with plastics employment behind Texas now, and we need to make sure that we continue to build those relationships. As a follow-up to this event that we're having tonight, in a couple of months we'll actually be in Sacramento with one of our groups, the Rigid Plastic Packaging Group, and we'll be meeting with a lot of legislators up there, and it's important for these folks to come up and help us as we carry that message to the California State House. The feedback has been fantastic, both within the industry and, as importantly with inside Washington and the people that we're trying to reach, all the time. This is our 80th anniversary, 2017. We've been around for 80 years, and SPI just really didn't convey, who we were any longer outside the industry. And I have to tell you that with the new administration and with all of the things that are happening in Washington, having that rebrand behind us and being able to walk into meetings and say, I'm Bill Carteaux with Plastics, makes all the difference in the world, because we no longer have to explain what an SPI is before we can actually start talking about what our issues are. They know immediately, who we are and how big our industry is.